Tonight on Up Late 958, we will be discussing AEW Dynamite, Mandy Rose, the WWE, and much more. We have a packed show for you tonight, and we're going to kick this off just like this.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6.
And Tony, my understanding is that we have a very special guest countdown today.
We have a trio of guests countdown, and it's a very, I'd like to say, very well done. It comes from Rocco, Frank Bruno, and
5, 4, 3, 2.
the mental patient himself, Carl Mandik.
Carl Mandik is a wild child.
Isn't that right, Whitney?
3, 2,
1, play.
Oh, God!
Holy shit, guys, I can't believe we pulled that off.
Welcome to Up Late 958. Hello, everybody. I'm Rocco the Model DeRose, and to my left, I can't get this right for crap. To my left is James Coehlo, the man of infamy, and right there, right under us, he is in again tonight for Mr. Frank Bruno. He is the czar himself, Mr. Rajiv. Gentlemen, how are you?
Well, not as good as Mr. Rajiv, that's for sure.
Why is that?
Oh, because you're Mr. Rajiv. Look at you. That's royalty. My bad.
He's got one of those names that is like it's one name. He's like Cher and like Elvis. He's Rajiv.
Anna and Rajiv.
The artist formerly known as Rajiv.
Oh boy.
We just saw AEW Dynamite.
Yeah,
Guys, I gotta get your opinion on the entire night. I'm gonna start off with Rajiv. What are you thinking? What do you think of what we just saw? The finish of this last match.
I think it's hopefully building towards something for the whole Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page thing. While we were off air, I was just saying I'm a very, very patient wrestling fan, but this whole thing with them is just taking a very long time to build, and let's hope that this is building towards something for them because they've been kind of stagnant for quite a long time now.
James.
They need to stop with the after match things. Like, not every match needs to have an after match schmoz, right? Or a pre-match schmoz or something, right? Like, just have a match. The match was there was a quality match that we saw in the main event. For those who did not see it, it was the Dark Order's 10 versus Darby Allin for the TNT title. The match was a solid match. It was well wrestled. There wasn't, any weird spots. And then you got, even the Ethan Page jump out where he threw Darby Allin into the pole. And I'm sorry that I keep bleeding through my mountain here, but he threw him into the pole and okay, so that's a little bit of a story. And then he runs off and then you think that he's going to get beat. And then Darby Allin, pulls that pin out. And so that makes it interesting, but then we got to have the after match and we got to go through everything. And what the heck is Lance Archer even doing there? I don't even understand that alliance. That's another one that I'm so confused.
Yeah, that's something else that, again, I'm very, very patient with stories building because I love stories, but him and the whole Sting thing, it's taking way too long to figure out what the heck they're doing with that.
Well, I mean, Sting's leg got broken tonight, it looks like.
Make a name for yourself, Scorpio Sky.
Yeah, there you go. Injure the 61-year-old man. How do you feel?
Oh my! So we have somebody here. We have somebody else joining. We need a fourth man. You always need that fourth man.
Who is the fourth man?
Who is the fourth man? Well, maybe I should just play a little something here and just kind of tell you who it is.
What? Draw pictures of dicks. Dicks? Like a Mandik?
Mr. Carl Mandik himself.
Oh man.
Hey
There he
yo.
is. Right there.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, you.
Dick to go.
What? We're
Hi.
live.
We're
We're
live.
live. We're live, pal.
We're live, pal. Goddamn.
How is everybody doing? And by the way, is my audio any better, or is it still echoey and coming off of my mic or off of my camera?
Sounds like your camera still.
Sounds like your
Yeah.
camera, but better than last night. So we're just moving in the right direction.
You're heading upwards.
In some way, shape, or form, maybe. Let's see. Is this any better?
No.
No.
Okay, so officially, we were talking about this off air. So officially, we need not only like a publicist slash like assistant for Carl. We also need like a tech person on staff. He needs like a Hodgkiss Featherbottom right there, like waiting for him.
I could make a phone call.
Yeah, who do you know in Arizona?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Mandik Enterprises. That way we can write it off.
Mandik Enterprises. He's gonna have his own network, the Mandik.
Yes. Where I go for that? Let's see if this goes here. I'm gonna try going. I'm gonna pop out of the room just for a second, guys. Get back.
And as Carl takes care of that, I'm gonna just kind of do that for a second. As Carl takes care of that, so we had an interesting card tonight. You were kind of funny off air, James. You said you could kind of say it if you want.
Oh, on AEW Dark. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike and Matt Seidel and the Young Bucks with that freaking Don Callis.
The not so invisible hand.
Okay, but before that, there was that whole interview in the limo. What did you guys think of that? I thought it was falling off the rails, and then they brought it back with the horn honking. That was just my opinion.
Just make it stop. Don't let the Bucks ever talk ever. Don't let Kenny ever talk, for that matter. Just let him stand.
Oh,
you have the best promo man of that group. In fact, the Good Brothers are better promo men than the other three. So you have three of the best promo people out of the group that are not doing the majority of the talking. That's a problem. Don Callis should do all the talking anyway, because that's going to be more compelling.
Right. It should be like a Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar sort of thing. Kenny should talk very little, and Don should talk all the time.
It should be rare when Kenny talks. It should be like Brock, where
because I think that's part of the problem that a lot of people have with Kenny is his character work as well as his promos. Nobody debates how good he is in the ring because he is. He's amazing in the ring. But once he tries to build a character, once he tries to talk, everybody just kind of simmers to him.
It's like when Nick Jackson talks.
That segment was brutal with Eddie Kingston and Kenny Omega and Don Callis. John Moxley came out. I'm sitting there watching.
Your leg. Are you gonna break his leg? I'm gonna break your leg. Oh God, help me.
Yeah, it was rough.
It was brutal. It was really, and by God, hold on. Let's how you doing there, buddy?
How about now?
You sound good.
That's better.
Don't touch anything. Just sit still. No, you're touching things.
You sound like you got that audible chocolate of a voice going right now with that microphone.
Nope, you touched it.
Welcome back into 98.7 WDRB Balls to the Walls sports coverage.
So, Carl Mandik, we're talking AEW Dynamite right now. Did you get a chance to catch any of it while you were doing your thing or do you want us to catch up to speed?
Unfortunately, I did not. Now, I did catch NXT, and I was able to catch, not clip, but catch the Charlotte Flair against Mandy Rose. And second time around actually watching it, Rocco, I think you're way ahead of your time.
So that brings us out of AEW Dark right now.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I didn't see any of it.
But you know what? It's good. You know what? I need segue music for this. I need segue.
When I was 10, one of the first essays I wrote was about being an SNL writer to write the bump music to Saved by the Bell. Fun fact.
So, Mandy Rose. We have Mandy Rose.
We do not
Charlotte
have Mandy
Flair.
Rose.
I wish we did, yeah. But somebody's echoing, and I can hear myself.
It's all right.
But we had Mandy Rose and Charlotte. Guys, I need your thoughts. I don't know if you guys have seen this match, but anybody out there who has not seen this match from Raw on Monday, go back. It's on YouTube. Go back, watch it.
In fact, if you're gonna do we're gonna do the Conrad. If you're gonna watch one match this week, that's the match.
Yeah, if you're gonna watch one match this week, that's the match. Charlotte, I'm not gonna say it, but they both got over. Well, Charlotte was already over, but they both it helped them. Guys, thoughts? I'll go with James first.
So, I think Rocco, you're right. Is that Charlotte? While Charlotte's always been over, kind of always going to be over, right? Just on name value alone, if nothing else. What she did in that match for Mandy Rose speaks volumes about the type of talent that WWE has in their women's roster. I mean, I never thought that Mandy Rose was a slouch, but she elevated that game up so much that it makes it more compelling that you want to watch other, folks that other wrestlers that she's wrestling with. It's rare that you see a bad match from Charlotte, and that match did so much for both of them that no one lost. So, regardless of the win-loss of that situation, Mandy comes out shining like a star, which she should. And Charlotte's still a star because she can put anybody over and have a match with a broomstick and it be compelling.
Rajiv?
I will agree with James on the fact that Charlotte can have a match with a broomstick and that nobody came out looking weak in that match. It's kind of like the JR school of thought where wins and losses in this particular case don't matter because they're both looking so strong. Before this match, I will say I did not think of Mandy Rose very highly as a wrestler. I wouldn't even say that she wasn't a slouch. I would say that she was more character than a wrestler. But after this particular match, it was amazing to me to think that just a week ago I was thinking, oh, Mandy Rose is only a character. She's not a wrestler. And on top of that, I mean, we were talking last week about how WWE and Charlotte have an issue, and it has to do with the whole Andrade situation. To me, this kind of felt like watching it, that Charlotte went out there with something to prove, like, hey, WWE, you really need me, and here's why. And I think that's why the match was elevated as much as it was because she was out there with the passion of, I need to be the best that I can be tonight because I have something to prove to these people.
That's great, Carl. What did
literally words out of my mouth. I won't say anything more than I echo the sentiments of Rajiv. There was a certain aspect of Charlotte, especially the second time around, that aligns with where you're at, and it kind of said to them. Now, James, correct me. Am I wrong on this? is she out for a second surgery coming up here?
So she was supposed to be out for dental work. That was the deal. Legitimate dental work, not kayfabe dental work. But I don't think that she's going to be out now for because of the whole Dave Meltzer thing. I think by Dave coming out and basically
what?
throw. Oh, you didn't hear about this?
Some news from the reg.
You know, and that's all right. On a platform like this, again, this is okay. We're not giving this person credence, nor are we giving them validation. This is simply headlines to tackle that I was unaware of. So Meltzer said.
So Meltzer came out and reported she has dental work. And I think she said in the Observer, and that was fine. But the problem is that on the radio show, Alvarez asked him, "What's the deal with Charlotte?" And Dave had to tried to elaborate. And I don't know. You've talked to women before in your life, assuming Rocco has has Mrs. Model in his life. Rajiv, I don't know what your significant other's name is, but you have someone in your life. Are you going around asking them and commenting on their looks unless it's "you look great"? That's the answer you give, right? Yeah, so he did not say that, and he said that she's subconscious about her looks, which I think he meant self-conscious, and it kind of spiraled out of control, and Charlotte went on a Twitter tirade on Uncle Dave.
Okay, so
like a full-on
we're
F-bomb tirade.
And
Deservedly so, if I might add.
Agreed.
100% backer. Now, granted, let's call a spade a spade. When she returned and she was at NXT, her face was noticeably different. Did we freak out about China when she showed up and her jaw?
I think the big difference there is social media wasn't a thing. Would we have had social media been a thing?
Rajiv. That's the question. That is literally the question. Would this be a big deal if social media, if we're talking about Ashley or Charlotte 98?
I think the other thing to think about here, I'm not a subscriber of The Observer, and I probably never will be, but did Dave report on China with her whole situation?
See,
no.
That China podcast from over the Christmas time, was that taken from her book, or was that taken from... Because I know
that's
the
a thing
Sunny
too,
episode was taken from her book.
Because that's the thing, too. If Dave did not report on China in 98, why is he reporting on Charlotte in 2021?
Okay.
That's a good one.
The other thing, too, here is the time and the... Guys, timing is everything. Dave, what are you doing, buddy? I know my hair looks like a psycho right now. Hold on.
You're still better looking than Dave Meltzer.
Well, that's basically what Charlotte said about him, which was excellent. I think that's the part that popped me.
Carl,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Okay.
Carl, can you hear me?
In this world, in this climate that we're currently in, 2021, a lot of us are naturally seeking respite in just the things we enjoy. I mentioned Charlotte's image had changed, but I said, and criticize it or break it down. What is the point? I get this is rhetorical. What is the point for Dave to do that? To get clicks? Is that really what we boiled this thing down to?
Well, the thing is I don't even know if that was for clicks. I think if you listen to the clip, and I'm not a subscriber of Rajiv either, so the only reason I know is because I heard it secondhand
WrestlingInc.com.
I would rather grab a $10 bill out of my wallet right now and just set it on fire live on the air than to fucking subscribe to the Observer.
Tell us how you really feel, Rocco.
I don't care about the magazine so much. I it was one of those things where I think pre-ad free shows, I was toying with the idea because of the podcast area, right? I think that's the more interesting part, and that's where this came up, is that it was on the show, and I think it was Dave trying to. I'm not trying to defend him, but I think this was Dave trying to basically give some context of what he's trying to say, and instead of saying something positive like what he thought he might have been saying, he was negatively saying it, because the way he said it was basically not so much like, he didn't just say like, oh well, she's doing this because she's self-conscious. It's, well, I think that she may feel self-conscious, and a lot of women at the WWE tend to feel that way because of da 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 da, and that's the route he was going. And I get what he was trying to say, but you just don't go there. Like, in general, it's not even social media or otherwise. That's why I think if it was reported in '98 the same way that it was reported there, social media or not, that would have made the rounds. That one would have been hard to miss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys,
whatever makes her feel, or whatever guy, gender regardless, if there's something that helps you, we know that she had some breast surgery done at some point.
Heyo.
Things popped. Alexa Bliss had one put in. She talked about it openly. For Meltzer to...
She had one put in?
Who? Alexa Bliss had both.
Yeah.
Because she was...
Oh, yeah.
Like an ironing board.
Yeah, okay. But Charlotte had them too, and she had commented the same.
So did Carmella.
There you go. And hey, guess what? If it gives confidence or morale, or to each their own, why are we talking about people's individual looks? Like, I get it. Charlotte did, her face looked different. Dave.
Well,
come on, dude. And I hate even giving power to somebody else like this.
And now here's my thing. It's like, I'm just going off of what Carl's saying, and I think we're all kind of in the same mindset of, if they feel they have to change something about themselves, there's no need for discussion. That's their thing.
Dave immediately goes to insecurity instead of, oh, maybe this is self-empowering.
Yes, exactly.
Like vanity is seen so, and I'm going to get back to the social media comment Rajiv made. Rajiv, you're so right in the sense that the vanity and the vain nature, the narcissism that exists, that when we post something to IG or Twitter or Facebook, whatever it is, a picture of us, and maybe it's us by ourselves, with our dog, whatever. It's gotten to be such an image-driven culture that Dave already leaned that way in the 80s. It seemed like he always had something with, like,
junk food dog. Let's look at that comment that he always made.
Yeah.
But that's not fodder. Dave does make some things that even make Eric Bischoff say, spot on. But when we start getting into personal appearance fodder, I mean, dude, you're sunk. I mean, you have no chance.
All right, so let's get out of this negative talk of a negative person.
But thank you guys for filling me in.
So I want just kind of not to shift too many gears. Let's stay in this Raw thing. What did you think of the team of Randy Orton and Matt Riddle?
Can we make it stop, please?
Immediately. Arcade Bro, come on, man.
Arcade
Get out of here with that.
And you wanted to
Rajiv,
call it was such a fed line. Like, you want to be called a team name RK, bro. Like you saw it
Call
coming.
yourselves
Like,
Arcade Bro,
Hey.
pal.
hey Bruce, get in here. So I got this idea.
Vince, I haven't. Hey, pal, I haven't slept in 96 hours.
But Bruce, I want to put Matt Riddle and Randy Orton together. Find a fucking team name for me.
All right. Let me see what I can do. Hold on.
Call Triple H.
Street Profits. I'm tired. What do you guys have for me? RK Bro. Vince, RK Bro.
I love it. Paul, get in here. Bruce just came up with RK Bro. Let's book this shit for Monday.
Randy Orton was starting to enter into a very rare era. Not one that I believe that John Cena even hinted at. Randy Orton has an old school, yet refined, and he's learned from his mistakes. People ask why he's so good. Why he's so smooth. It's not because he's super tall, jacked, good-looking dude who's like crazy smooth. He's learned from his mistakes, whether it was whatever he was putting into his body, and then to turn him. I don't like to play armchair quarterback on this one, but he started to enter this kind of Freddie Blassie, I almost say Nick Bockwinkel AWA towards the end of, he's the best in the game. In any promotion, you could put him up against New Japan's top star, AEW. He is that good. So the RK Bro thing just seems like, and here's a kink in the hose. That's how it feels to me.
Coehlo?
it was like we don't have anything for Randy right now, so to keep him on TV, let's put him with Matt Riddle, who doesn't also have something going on because he just lost the title. And instead of letting Riddle continue out with the singles run, let's see if he can get the rub from Randy. That's what that is. And God, I feel bad for Randy. Matt Riddle can just go away. I'm not even talking about like any of the other personal stuff or he said, she said. I just do not like the character at all.
Vegas odds have the over-under at 8.5 weeks before they do a hacky sack gimmick backstage. That according
Please,
to
that can't be a real thing.
It's not.
Rajiv, your thoughts on the RK Bro nonsense?
I mean, anytime you get Shelton Benjamin on TV, I'm all for it. But then you see RK Bro, and you're like, really? Should we even put Shelton in front of this? But yeah, I'm with James. I kind of liked the Bro character at first, and then he just got to be so annoying that it became go away heat instead of this guy's kind of cool. So, which I think is what they're trying to go for, but it's not working for me at all.
Out of curiosity, do you think? Because I have a moment where I think Matt Riddle's career basically tanked in WWE. My moment is the Michael Cole interview.
Oh yeah,
started talking about the flip flops. That was it. That was it. I don't need to see anything more of you.
Yep.
You told me that your feet had permafrost.
That was Fonzie jumping the shark.
That was his suffer and succotash moment.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
this is going to sound very naive. Permafrost?
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Did he get that? Like, was that a playoff on Antonio Brown?
No.
Freezing his feet?
No, it was just a way to explain why he wears sandals all the time.
What is permafrost?
Like, he like was in the snow and he got like permanent frostbite, and he said, I'm pretty sure he said permafrost.
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah, and that's what Antonio Brown has. If anybody doesn't remember, he went into one of those.
Yeah, he went to the hyperbaric chamber.
Didn't wear sandals.
Correct.
And torches.
Correct. But they were saying the same, like Matt. They were doing an interview in the ring, like one of those, like, okay, this is supposed to be like the rub interview, right? Like, get yourself over, kid, and that's what they came up with. And that was when SmackDown was like just moved to Fox, and I'm like, oh my god, what? So he beats debut night. He comes out, he beats AJ Styles. Next week, he does an in-ring interview, right? This is the formula for getting a person over, right, in the early 90s. This is it. This is the formula. And what do? Ask him why he wears flip-flops all the time. And he says that. And...
Okay. All right, let me throw this out there. That was probably written for him. So is the organic promo the way to go? Because I remember Wade Barrett, for one thing. He won Tough Enough, or NXT, excuse me, based on getting the word wind. And he's like, all right, well, the winds of change are coming. And the way he said it, it was like, oh, that guy just won. It's very interesting that first impressions are lasting ones in wrestling. And I would say that Riddle is falling into modern day Terry Taylor.
No.
I wouldn't go that
No.
A good-looking guy not knowing how to get it over on the mainstream.
No, and I'm going to tell you why. This is his gimmick. This is not, whether that line was written for him or not, this is his gimmick. This is him. This is his character. Like, this is, if he was not in WWE, this is what he would do. He is a weed smoking, like, dude, bro guy. Like, that's it. That's his character. Like, that's his literal character, indies or not.
These guys
I
are
think
such douches.
Like I said, for me, that was his suffer and succotash moment. And with what Roman's doing right now, I almost forgive him for it. Almost. But if Riddle eventually incorporates the MMA that he had in his past and becomes a badass heel, I might be able to look past this. But I just, with the way he's going right now, and now RK Bro is a thing, I don't see this happening at least anytime soon.
That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure this is what he really wants to do. Like, this is his wheelhouse.
So and James, you're right on that. And then at the same time, Rajiv, you're spot on as well.
Agreed.
Him as that kind of Shayna Baszler-esque, recreate him, cut his damn hair, I don't care. But if you're going to keep him babyface, all I ask is that they bring in the Von Erichs. Because I think the Von Erichs would be... If you brought in both Von Erich brothers, and I'm not saying to try and recreate something that failed in the 80s when they tried to add a fake Von Erich, but put those three guys together in a tag match against the New Day.
Okay. I see it.
And let's see what happens.
Now, talking to the other half of that, RK Bro, Randy, I think he had such a good gimmick. He had such a good storyline going on with The Fiend, and the payoff at Mania was just like, what the fuck? I think there was more to get out of that storyline. I think, and I'm just kind of like, we're still trying to process this. Now this jumps into another part of this. This whole Alexa Bliss being darker than the Fiend kind of deal. Some insight.
What if that match went on second to last?
The Fiend and Randy Orton. And Randy Orton at WrestleMania.
Yeah. What if that was now? they opened with that because they knew the intro was going to be super long. Obviously, something we touched on last week. That intro was super long, so you're timing it backwards. So Bruce is back there, or I assume it's Bruce.
Definitely
Isn't
Bruce.
Carano gone?
Yeah, Carano's
Yeah, and he did talent relations anyways. But you're backwards timing, and you don't know how long it's going to take for that Jack in the Box satanic one to get out there and her to crank it. Very similar to what Kurt Angle talked about with Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, and his three-way match.
Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, and Kurt Angle.
Yeah. And Rey Mysterio's entrance was like, what, 7 minutes?
I think I went into the next grade in school during that whole entrance.
But I'm just saying that. What if that was held? I felt like that came across as when Lesnar and Rollins kicked off WrestleMania, and I know that was one day. But when they opened it up, I was like, okay, cool, we can go with this. To me, I felt like there was so much suspense built up in The Fiend that delivering it to the audience right away that's just sat down, the placing of it, I still haven't wrapped my head around.
Rajiv, what are your
if they placed it second to last, then a lot of people would have liked the main event much better. But also, I don't think the feeling that people had about the match would have changed based on a different placement on the card. That finish was a hokey finish to get out of a storyline, whether we think it's a good finish or not. Obviously, WWE thought it was good enough to be on WrestleMania. I thought it was going to continue the story, but as we have seen, it's not. So
and that's what the point I'm trying to get across is that they had so much more to get out of that story. And I just feel like it was a fart in church.
Agreed.
Coehlo?
How long, James? How long does that storyline last in '88? A year?
Yeah,
year and a half.
Like
at least a year.
At least a year. Like that's. I mean, look at even 86, right? Like we're watching along in '86, and we're seeing some of these things that just they're threading stories on top of stories, right? Ronnie Garvin eventually is going to beat Ric Flair, but right now, right, and based on like where we are going through, February and March, Ronnie Garvin and Ric Flair have issues, but so do Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair. But so do Ronnie Garvin, and they're going to be probably Jimmy Val. Like it's just, it's
and so on and so forth.
But yeah, that's what's missing, right? That right there. Like there's no, because you can multi-thread those. There's no foreshadowing. There's no multi-threading, and you can extend them out. It's like, okay, how can we get to this payoff? Like, okay, we had a week build-up. Like, let's go. Pay-per-view is coming in 2 weeks. Like, we need a match. Versus, hey, our pay-per-view is in 3 months. Let's come up with a storyline. AEW has that and doesn't do it.
That's what I was going to say. AEW right now has that, and I was just talking about this on my brand new podcast, Chop On, cheap plug, with our fellow top guy, Bharat Sundaresan.
Go check him out.
Plugs. Fill us in completely on what it is.
I was going to say, let the man plug his show.
So Chop On, we talk about cricket and wrestling, and we talk about it in past, present. It's kind of like a similar format to First Take and Pardon the Interruption on ESPN. Comes out every Wednesday in America, Thursday in India and Australia. So if you guys want to check it out, anchor.fm/chop-on, you'll be able to find all the information there. But it's like Bharat and I were talking about on that show is AEW with the quarterly pay-per-views have a chance to build their stories. Whether we think the stories are great or not, they at least 90% of the pay-per-view card has a story. And that to me, I will take 90% of the card having a story, whether I like the story or not, over WWE. Every month we have 1 or 2 pay-per-views with a story that's not building. We're just going to throw something out there and have an inkling of a story.
And not to fantasy book this, But here's how I would have done it. If they wanted that to be the finish at Mania, how I would do it was, okay, story, why did Alexa do it? So here's perfect story. Alexa did it because the Fiend had mind games over her. She finally got wise to the mind games, and she lined herself with Randy Orton. So you can go a couple of different ways with that. And you keep the storyline going there, and this is Alexa Bliss getting back at the Fiend for trying to quote unquote turn her or whatever. But Alexa never was turned. She kind of played along with that to get over on the Fiend as the payoff. Just the way I would have had that storyline progress. I mean,
Now, when it comes to payoff, Rocco, we do need to acknowledge one thing. We didn't get the payoff of fellow friend of the chat pack, TJ, getting waxed, chin down, for an AWA belt. However, how did TJ get that belt? My understanding is Buddy sent you some sort of clip.
Well, I'm very disappointed. Theft is not
There was
proper.
no theft.
Theft is not proper, Carl. You should. I mean, if the police in Indiana are watching this, this is going to be
It is somewhat incriminating.
We've bore witness to it. So
this is physical evidence, guys. Do we have the Law and Order theme? Hey, do you want me to drop something just so you can also play the...
Wait, did you mean this? That's Carl. But, okay, so, Carl...
Here's what happened. Okay,
to
be honest, here's the story. Frank, Bruno, and I are leaving Mike Kolb's house after we help him set up...
You know what, Carl, just let the video speak for itself. Then explain your actions.
You're right.
You guys, I watched this before. Just watch.
This belt, it's coming home. See, being forgetful is both a blessing and a curse. Conveniently forgetful. Well, that's my wife. But we came, we saw, and we conquered. We got it, baby. What's mine is mine. What? Yours is mine, too. Who said that? I can't remember. Thanks, Mike. Got the belt. Good. Just put a bunch of illegal porn on your computer, too. Frank, start the car. Start the car. Just cashed in. Rounds, money in the bank now. We got the belt. Let's go.
You can't unsee that.
You can, in fact. And I'm contractually obligated to watch that, and I can unsee it. And I will, as soon as I leave this.
Mike, so Mike calls us. We help him set up his Theo, brand new addition to their family. We went over. He needs some help moving some stuff around to get. They didn't expect it. By the way, the one time we don't do a baby pool, and I called it to the day, to almost the hour. Damn it.
Lost a lot of money on that, didn't you?
Yeah, but no, Mike goes, hey, you forgot TJ's AWA belt. So Frank and I dial back, and we double back, we go back, and I'm like, oh, let's do it like Repo Man style, make it funny. He goes, hey, I'm in the shower, don't F around. Well, what do you think I'm going to do? F around. So Mike was, I cleared that with Mike to make sure it was okay, and TJ as well. So that was just a fun little, it's probably the only piece of content we have from that weekend.
So what you're saying is you just blew kayfabe right then and there. You just ruined it.
And that's the show, people.
What is real anymore? Like seriously, I don't. What is real?
God damn it, Carl! You're fired.
Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy, Mandik.
By the way, we never see Frank in the video, so
we hear him. Though.
No, dude, you do hear him laugh. You do hear him, yeah.
But
right
you
at the
have to
end.
know Frank. So if this was to be held in the court of law, you never see Frank one time.
Fuck.
That's true.
I just got a call from the Crown Point Police Department when that was up there.
Oof.
Yeah, they're not happy with you, Carl.
Yikes.
Well, damn it! Yeah, I got nothing. I tried to repo Mandik him and didn't work. It did work. TJ got his belt. He eventually. By the way, the heaviest. And now I'm not a belt guy. I have never held a belt heavier than 17 pounds. That belt was heavier than 17. It had to be 17 to 20 pounds. Because a big gold belt, the Sting one that he had, and I'm holding the other one, and I did reverse hands, and it was easily twice the weight. I mean, not even close.
So, gentlemen, interesting week on AFS. And let's get into it. Last night we had our book club with Eric, and Rajiv was there. Coehlo, did I see you there?
Yeah, I was there.
You were there. Did you ask a question?
I did not ask a question. I had to listen. I got in a little bit after the start, and we had kid issues, but so I was just listening in. But it was still good questions. Actually, I was worried that it was going to take that turn of not about the book, but it was right on topic. It was good.
It's funny. A lot of us asked almost kind of the same question, but Rajiv had a freaking bomb. Like not a bomb. I mean like an actual home run of a question, which was really really good. Rajiv, why don't you tell us about it?
Czar.
Oh, it was. I'm trying to remember. Oh, it was about because the voice of the book sounds so much like the way Eric talks. So I wondered how much he wrote himself, or if that was all the ghostwriter. And he pretty much said it was all the ghostwriter. And the reason that it sounded like his own voice is because of the hours and hours and hours of interviews that they did, and because that ghostwriter is just a phenomenal author. So.
Where'd you find the? I couldn't find it on Audible.
I have the actual book, so I didn't do any.
Rajiv,
and they did say that it's not available on Audible.
Rajiv's pretty old school, like I am, I guess.
Yeah, Carl. It's called reading left to right, up down.
Yeah,
there's pages inside, and there's covers front and back, and
a couple of sentences.
There's a book in between those pages.
You know, in this thing called literacy, Carl, there's like a storyline. And when you read a book, you tend to read a book like you're in the mind of the person who wrote it, and it reads like, you know, Eric is the one writing it word for word.
Okay.
Carl,
Okay.
Carl,
We
Carl,
5-year-old.
Okay.
A few words make a sentence. A few sentences make a paragraph.
Conjunction,
did I catch a niner in there?
Junction, what's your function?
So, ladies and gentlemen, right next to one of the most prized possessions, something we did not get to talk about, Viva Las Vegas. Right next to the Elvis Gold record is Rocco's favorite book. Does anybody know what it is?
Right next to the
Elvis let's not get into.
Wait,
by the way,
what?
world's most read book.
Where?
The Bible.
Quran.
True. That would make sense.
But this is Rocco's favorite book. He loves.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I wasn't even listening to what Carl was saying. I see Penelope Ford right over his shoulder.
There's a Sudoku and a crossword puzzle in here.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Rocco, I'm trying to look at Penelope.
I'm sure there's like mazes and like little pictures you can color.
That
too.
let me tell you something.
Carl, move the book. Thank you.
Let me tell you something about the Young Bucks. I'm pretty sure Riggs and Bagwell were way better than the Young Bucks, but
they were
better workers too.
How big are your grapefruits right now, knowing that I can't queue up anything? Like I can't queue up American Male. I can't do any. I feel like I feel like a hermaphrodite. I just can't do anything. But I kind of love it too.
It's kind of feeling in the world as a person who's a guest on the show. I enjoy every second of it.
We gotta end the show there. We can't top that.
That's a walk off. Eric. Well, Eric, we had a funny dialogue with Eric last night.
Did anybody call into the radio show?
Yeah, I did.
And how did that go?
Oh, it was great. They were talking about factions because today's the anniversary of one of the NWO things. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, they were talking.
Team.
They were talking. They were talking factions and the whole invasion of AEW with Impact Wrestling. It was good. It was a lot of fun.
So, what I was going to say before, Eric and I had an interesting interaction. For those of you who were not on last night, did you guys all listen to the recent 83 weeks?
Yes.
So
I'm so far behind.
So I'll just say there's a segment where he's talking about this pay-per-view.
Yep.
And he's saying about, story, I want to be engaged, this, that. I don't know how Eric starts to relate to being a kid in Detroit and going to the movies as a kid. So he tells the story about going to the movies as an 8-year-old kid and going to Detroit and all that kind of stuff, and his mother dropping him off at the movie theater, and his favorite thing was buttery popcorn and Milk Duds mixed together.
Can we get into this discussion, because I am next to buttery popcorn and Milk Duds. My favorite thing, like if I could have 3 things on a desert island to eat, if I could combine one thing, what he described is what I crave, and that's Wendy's fries into chocolate malt.
God damn it, Carl! Let me finish my story!
Sorry.
And that's the show!
Carl, you got a timeout.
Penalty box. I feel like this is a man. What was the
We're going to go on the power play for 2 minutes, Rocco.
Man of the Mountain.
King of the Mountain?
I really want a cone of silence to drop on me.
Okay, you're in the penalty box for like a minute. So he likes buttery popcorn and Milk Duds. So he says he's sitting there loving it. He believes it's an Elvis movie. And then he says, yeah, I think it was Aunt Margaret was in it. It was Blue Hawaii. So the huge Elvis fan that I am,
yeah.
I've got to talk to him about this last night before I asked my question about the book.
Yep.
So I said, huge Elvis fan, but it was actually Viva Las Vegas. He's like, oh, that's right. Oh, but Blue Hawaii, I always wanted to play that ukulele. So we were talking about Anne Margaret. Eric's like, Anne Margaret was smoking though. Damn. So I'm like, well, his wife Priscilla was pretty. He goes, oh, she looked a little too young. And it kind of got awkward after that. It kind of.
Yes,
but
oh wait, no. Here's the deal. Eric, I find to be refreshing in the sense that, listen, I'm not trying to be a perv here. He still finds his wife attractive. I mean, he put her over on the podcast, and it's like, that's kind of cool. Like, honestly, like, I thought that was like, I'm like, Damn, I wish it like in my world that like I could be monogamous and like anti Ric Flair and like not, you know.
So
I haven't gotten any in a while, but I'm just saying that I like the endorsement that I shouldn't say endorsement. I like the fact that he still has this attractive nature for his wife. And there it is. I knew that was coming. I set myself up for that one.
That's what she said.
So
I get for being long-winded. Should have known.
Yeah, we thought we weren't gonna.
What is it? I feel like Dwight Schrute going to Toby. What does the female vagina look like?
So, I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about anymore.
Nope.
Rajiv's got a nice little caption down there. That was acknowledged last night too.
Again.
Absolutely.
That was a very father and son discussion.
Was there a mention of the biopic at all?
Very briefly. He was mostly talking about the writing of it than anything.
Are they kind of on somewhat of a hiatus type of schedule? Broken Dick, there's no C in my last name.
No.
You sure?
I would assume, Carl, that they are on hiatus because of the whole COVID situation, like most film productions have been, but yeah. It seems like it's at a standstill, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, because Hemsworth stopped. Boy, this is. You know what? I'm gonna stop right there.
You're pumping the brakes?
Yeah. You know, yeah. Because if I start a sentence with, you know, Hemsworth, ... That's gonna end up with Carl Mandik Virgin on the bottom again.
Yeah, but then we don't even know which one you're talking about.
There's more than one. There's more than one Carl Mandik Virgins. Oh shit.
Christopher.
Yeah,
because on his IG, I mean, he was getting all buff and like ripped, and like there were all these crazy videos, like Tommaso Ciampa style, like of him lifting and him looking like Hulk, and then they stopped.
No.
So why I've had interest in the biopic is. So where is it, brother?
So I got a question for you, Carl.
Yeah.
Right over your right shoulder. Why are you covering up Carmella?
Because Penelope's right there.
I'm sorry.
Where's Carmella?
God damn, pal.
Carl, that's the wrong spot.
Do not be covering up Penelope, though, either.
No.
Okay.
Carl, that's the whole reason I like your video right now. You can't cover that up.
Jeez. Yeah, that works. That there. Or cover that license plate. Like, no one cares about Illinois.
Well,
Yeah,
okay,
you know.
all right. Rajiv, what movie is it from?
That's from Ferris Bueller.
On his license plate from Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, and no one cares. Great.
Look at Carmella as a brunette.
Dude, and her
That's why I
eating
didn't
pizza
recognize
in a hotel room. I mean, there are some scenarios in life and in the afterlife that I just pray I would die to be that piece of pepperoni.
I love that we started with Dave Meltzer talking about looks, and now we're ending with Carl Mandik and Carmella in a hotel room.
So Carl's. So hey, you guys check out that. You check out Up Late 958. Yeah, Carl wants to be reincarnated as a piece of pepperoni.
Coming up,
he's lost his mind.
Send your hate tweets to @CarlXMandik.
Virgin.
Coming up at WrestleMania Backlash, we will have Carmella versus Alexa Bliss in a Carl Mandik on a pole match.
Wait, how am I on the? Okay, I don't even want to. Now, something I can tease ahead to. I don't want to be in a poll. Everything right now, my ribs hurt. A, from laughing. B, from somewhat crying laughing, and C from the thought of a poll. Rajiv, tomorrow we get to actually deliver on something that has been 2 weeks in the making. I had some life stuff get in the way. I apologize for that. But I don't want to hype it up too much, but I'm still stoked for tomorrow.
As am I. I think everything that we have for our respective years is really, really solid. So it should be a good show.
April 2001 and April 1991?
I believe that's correct.
Yes. God, is that right? No, I know I've got 01.
I know I've got 91, so.
All right, so we're good. We're good. Just a quick plug for Crowd
Go for it.
Pop Live. I just wanted to toss it in. But no, it's our most loaded show because there was things that we had to cut out of it just because April 01 and 91 were stacked. So
I think I have to add one because it's been a couple weeks and now my topics for the Hot Open don't make any sense.
Oh, all right, we'll talk tomorrow about that.
Okay.
But now was everybody? What was the main event of AEW, Rocco? I did, since I did not see it. I was on the phone for 2.5 hours with good friend of the chat pack, Megan Nelson.
Okay. Guys, I mean, we were talking about this at the beginning of the show. What the main event was. Guys, do you want to? You guys did a good job of doing the play-by-play. I might as well let you guys do it again.
So it was Dark Order's 10 versus Darby Allin. The match itself was a well played out match. It wasn't. No, like the number. Like
the number 10.
Number 10.
Oh, I thought.
And that's Carl X Mandik to send your hate tweets at. No, but just to reiterate, I think the match was fine. I think the interference that Ethan Page had was fine, but they had to have an after-match, schmoz where everyone gets beat up and Sting gets beat up and Sting's leg gets broken and here comes Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page and they're going to make a name for themselves and blah, blah, blah. And then Lance Archer comes out of nowhere. So they need some continuity there. The show could have ended on 10, handshake, Darby Allin. They stare each other down, mutual respect, and that could have been the end of the show. They didn't need anything else after that.
Yeah, that kind of schmaz finish I'm surprised by.
Yeah, and I agree with everything James said, but my whole argument at the beginning of the show was that I'm a very patient wrestling fan, and if these things are building towards a bigger storyline, then great, but in the moment, yeah, I agree that it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, especially with Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. They haven't really done much of anything for the last month or two. If this is helping build them to something, great. The whole Lance Archer thing with Sting doesn't make any sense right now, but if that's building to something, then great. But it just seems like they're taking their sweet time getting there, and Sting does not need to be on TV every week, is my 2 cents, and I love Sting. He's one of my all-time favorites, but he's on TV way too much.
Rocco, I'm going to be concise in my last comment. Rajiv and James just both brought out something, and it's this. Don't be a prisoner of the moment when you're a wrestling fan. Try patience. It might be uncomfortable. It might feel against the grain. But I really preach being patient and seeing where something goes. And just don't be a prisoner of the moment on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Nobody's watching on Thursday. Friday.
I'm watching Thursday at this point.
Hey, there's a lot of this, that, and the third going on there.
There's more compelling things now happening on Thursday than there are on Monday.
Well,
in my opinion.
The Thursday night has a terrible champion though.
Well, I'm not a fan of the champion, but at least the storyline. That
If you can
storyline
find
had.
it.
Well, okay. If you could, well, no, you can find it. It's on Twitch, so you can just
Or
watch
Pluto.
it there.
Yeah.
But the point is that regardless of Kenny Omega now being their champion, I could care less about that storyline.
Wow. Oh, I didn't know.
I could care less about that storyline. There are some other compelling storylines with the women's division. There are compelling storylines with the tag division. There's other things going on there that there's some semblance, but it is Impact, and you do have to watch a lot of crap to get to and wade through it to get to these three things you want to watch. So anytime you can watch those shows in clips, you're going to be happier.
Does anybody feel better about where we are right now as far as pop culture goes, pro wrestling, sports, than last year?
Oh, last year. I thought you were going to say
Then just raise your
the
hand.
previous Monday Night War.
I would say I feel better. I feel more confident and we got the draft on tomorrow. God, I'm so excited.
I don't know if I feel better because now Kenny Omega is the front man of two companies, not just one.
Yeah, that doesn't make me feel good.
No,
I gotta be honest.
I like that the more that you guys continue to poke the pins into the voodoo doll of Kenny Omega, he just keeps going boop 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 boop. Listen, I don't like his English. Listen, his North American run is yet to be TBD, and Rajiv, I think you'd be the same. Patient, see how it plays out. But what would he be in W? Excuse me.
He'd be on NXT. Is where he would be.
That's what I meant to say. What would he be in NXT? And does that affect the buy rate? I don't think so. He is where he needs to be, and he's doing what he needs to be doing. I think he's in a spot where he can flourish and try something different. Rocco, if you look at it from the golf course to how they've styled some of it, he's got a lot of Rick the Model in him.
Ooh, no way.
That he does.
No.
I got nothing.
No. And in closing, guys, because I'm not going to even touch that one. Closing remarks. James Coehlo.
Kenny Omega still needs to go away. Matt Riddle also needs to go away. And please to God, someone help Randy Orton. Although he did, he was able to do a podcast, so I guess there's a light at the end of that tunnel.
And where can they find you?
At Man of Infamy. Or at Salesforce Opportunities. Either one,
Yeah.
I have friends on both. How about that?
Rajiv, closing?
If you like wrestling and don't understand cricket, but if you like cricket and don't understand wrestling, there's a brand new podcast for you. You can find that on Twitter and Instagram at Chop On Pod. We have new episodes coming out every Wednesday night in America, Thursday morning in India and Australia, and that's with fellow top guy Bharat Sundaresan. We try to appeal to both the cricket fans and the wrestling fans, so please tune in. I'm sure you're all going to love it. Our first episode came out tonight. Check it out, anchor.fm/chop-on.
And where could they find you, Rajiv?
At the Rajiv8 on Twitter.
Very, very cool. And Mr. Mandik.
My final comments come from an actual. Wow, I can't believe this. I'm going to play this without listening to it. A voicemail from Vince Russo.
Bro.
No.
That's all he sent me.
So that's how you wasted your last comments?
I didn't waste. I'm playing an actual voicemail.
That was not a voice.
You can find me at Carl X Mandik and send all your virgin hate tweets to Carl X Mandik. Carl X Mandik, ex-Mormon.
Ex-Mormon?
Use the hashtag #SuckItMandik.
Yes.
Yeah. Suck it, Mandik.
No, that actually is still going around the internet. If you go on Twitter, Suck It Carl with a K is still a thing.
And before we get off, before we get off with Mandik, please tell us about this little temporary name change that I literally missed when I was gone.
So I tried Hello Mandik because I thought it sounded more professional, but I realized all of my email signatures, I realized all of the things that I had embedded in a lot of my social media link back to @CarlXMandik. So I go, it was like I did half a facelift on somebody, and then was like, I'm gonna stop.
Okay.
So back to Carl X Mandik. Yeah, well, you were gone, but no, it is at Carl X Mandik. And now, Rocco, in all honesty, how did you feel about tonight's new song to play us out?
I loved it, and my final thoughts are, guys, we did it another week. I'm excited for the next week coming up. We could see what goes on SmackDown. We'll see what's going on Raw, and we'll meet all back here again on Wednesday night. Tomorrow night, we've got Crowd Pop Live with those fine two gentlemen below us right here. And we have something new coming up every second Tuesday of the month now.
Yeah, we do.
With Mr. James Coehlo and Carl Mandik. How you feeling? Carl's like.
I'm super excited. I'm going to say this in all honesty. Iron sharpens iron, and I've learned so much from immense amount from Rajiv, Frank, Michael, Rocco. You know that. But the biggest thing that I learned from you, James, is I threw you a script about an hour before we did not have Zicky Dice, and you crushed it. And Rocco saw it too, and the right man for Rewind Wrestling Time, and looking back and giving perspective and putting something tangible next to those memories instead of just saying, hey, this happened. Womp womp.
So I'm not going away. Just every second Tuesday of the month, I have things that I have to do, and the man for the gig is James Coehlo. I'm glad James is part of the team here. Very thankful.
You trust me with your show.
Well, we needed another Northeast guy.
I don't trust myself with my own show.
I meant Rocco.
We needed another Northeast guy. If we didn't get another Northeast guy, I wasn't. That was it.
It's true. And Frank already has usually the monopoly on Mondays and usually Wednesdays, and then every other day that he fills in.
Rocco, can I break just the last piece of news? I swear to God, it's under 30 seconds.
Go for it.
If you are in the greater New York area, come mid-July, My Chat Pack Live has been granted access to do a pre-game and post-game show outside of Yankee Stadium.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Breaking news.
So our hope, we don't know, again, nothing is set in stone. I'm just kind of, I went through a lot yesterday dealing with the PR people, and it would be Red Sox, Yankees, the 15th of July.
Now I'm more interested.
I knew you would be. And oh man, if I get to Yankee Stadium. So nothing set in stone, just letting people know that we did get clearance for that. So
now with that,
My Chat Pack Live on the road.
That it should be fun if we definitely do it. That'd definitely be fun. You can catch me at Rocco the Model. And gentlemen, it's been fun. Tune in for Crowd Pop Live tomorrow night. You will see me back here Tuesday night from Model Mandik, and you will see Frank Bruno back on Monday. Frank will join us again Wednesday. And guys, wolves are social, and they need their pack, and it keeps you all just coming on back. Gentlemen, we're out of here. See you guys. See ya.
Oh.